It is a mobile app. The most unique feature about this app is that it is messaging and incident reporting application where the identity of the user will be kept hidden. The idea behind this was whenever we go out in public, whenever we are roaming around, we see a lot of incidents, a lot of things happening. Sometimes we go out to our kids' school and we find people, peddling drugs. Or even we go to our maid's home and we see that there's a lot of domestic violence happening with her. These are just primary cases. So in these cases, we feel that we want to do something to stop this from happening. But in most of the cases, we just hesitate. We say, "हैं, इस झमेले में कौन पड़ेगा? क्योंकि फिर police case होगा, we will get into any trouble, and we don't want those things happening." So we fear speaking up, opening up, and we want to stop these things from happening, but we just don't want to get into the hassle of it. So what NIDAR will enable us to do is to report such incidents to a government agency, and our identity will not be disclosed.
How can you, apart from messaging, what are the other means through which you could actually report or share information with the government or other agencies?
So along with messages, you can send them messages. You can also send them pictures. You can take pictures and send them across. So you'll have proof, and that will give the government agency, I think, enough information to at least go and look, at least go and inquire. Because we are very well aware that governments do not entertain any anonymous reporting. Hence, we just want the government to see a pattern in the messaging. Like if there is, say,
Gunjan, could you add in terms of other means which you said, like she said messaging, you have videos, you have audios. So, other than that, what is it that you can do live immediately? Because there could be a case where, I mean, while the person who is actually sending and wants to genuinely, but being anonymous, I mean, how does the government get that kind of confidence that this is a genuine reporting that's happening?
Exactly, and you have actually touched upon a lot of points here. So, let's say the typical use of this application is, let's say Government of India decides to use it, and they publish a version of this application which citizens download on their phones. Along with it, they download a directory of phone numbers of various government departments. Now, we as citizens, if we want to report anything to a government department, and reporting can be in the form of text messages, images, location reporting, voice recording, whatever it is, they can just click on that number and send a message or send an image or whatever. And the agency gets it, but the identity of the sender is completely hidden, anonymous. Now, we often hear discussion that what about hoax messages and what about people who are just using it for fun. Now, while that is a completely genuine concern, at the same time, there is enormous power in the hands of citizens to report something fearlessly, and there is enormous power in the hands of the government to figure out if a particular message is genuine or not. So for example, we can deploy artificial intelligence and algorithms on the data that we collect. We can mine the data, we can analyze the data, and we can filter out the non-genuine message from the genuine ones. And these are very easy to do. For example, just how the English has been used, if we have been getting messages from this number. In other instances, if there's a pattern that is emerging, for example, multiple people over all of India are reporting similar kind of problems, and they're reporting in different ways, then you know that there's a systemic abuse that is going on, and take cognizance of that and act upon that. So while hoax messages are a problem, but there are plenty of ways to make sure that that the genuine ones don't get missed out.
So what I understand is your application is intelligent enough. You have those intelligence, and using the MIS report and all, there is a way for us to really see the patterns and try and understand and filter out, correct?
Yes, yes.
Can you take some specific use case for everybody to understand, maybe end to end, a small use case in terms of its applicability? And while you talk about the applicability, everybody has just got an idea in terms of the abuse or some incident. But I also understand it's applicable in the corporate sector, which means G2G kind of a service or something. So could you just take something which will allow everybody to understand its applicability, its enormous usage?
So just to give you, even no matter how detailed I am about the list of use cases, that even that would be a glimpse into the potential of this application. And let me just elaborate upon a few use cases. Anti-terrorism, anti-corruption, counterfeit money, black money, drugs and human trafficking, domestic violence, people who are depressed and feeling suicidal. If they don't feel like, for example, picking up phone and talking to someone because they will disclose their identity, they can just pick up the phone and start chatting with someone, knowing that my identity will not be disclosed, and this can bring them back from the verge of suicide. As Sonali mentioned, drugs being peddled out of school. Now just imagine the impact, the potential impact, just this one incident, one use case can have. Let's say there are incidents of, or there are people, antisocial elements, who are peddling drugs to kids and college students outside of school, outside of college. People are just afraid to report because these kind of people have enormous power in the hands of all types. If they just send a message to the right agency, if that agency takes cognizance and even investigates into this and stops the practice, even from that just one school, just one educational institution outside that, if they stop the peddling of drugs, this can impact a generation, future multiple generations of youngsters. One youngster prevented from getting destroyed is an enormous impact on society. Someone coming and telling, someone sending a message to, for example, Special Task Force or Anti-Terrorism Department, that, there are suspicious people living in my locality, and, I'm just worried, so can you please take a look? Even if there's a chance of 1% of this complaint being genuine, there's no harm in sending someone to that location just to investigate, just to see if there's something really wrong going on. And if that prevents a major incident, just imagine the number of lives that, not only the number of lives that you saved, but the number of future generations again that you stopped from being orphaned.
Tell me one thing. You talked about messaging, chat and all. What are your plans to add direct communication, phone call? That's not available currently. It's only limited to voice. Say in the case of police or any other case where you would like the mobile number to which you are trying to contact, you should be able to talk to them also right away and have the action, ensure that there's an action being taken. So what's your plan on that?
And that's a very, very important question. We have taken care of this requirement in a slightly different way. People, when they want, so our story starts with, look around you, every face is hiding something, right? All of us know some things that we want to act against, we want to report, but we are either afraid or hesitant for so many reasons, and all of us know that. Now, to pick up a phone, or to just know that, even if I'm talking to someone anonymously, it's not that comfortable a position for someone, right? Their voice being recognized, and we see in movies and all kinds of places that phone calls can be tracked, etc., etc. The same feature we have provided in this application via chat. So if you message a government agency saying that this is something wrong that's going on in my locality or whatever it is, they can engage that person in a completely anonymous chat and ask more questions for further information. And they can have a conversation that way. So the other party feels comfortable, and people from on the government side, they get out all the information. And not only that, the government departments, we also provide them with a web-based dashboard whereby they can generate all sorts of reports from the data that has been collected. So someone logging in at the administrator level and they're saying that, oh, how many messages were reporting to which department during last 3 months, 6 months, what was the pattern, peaks and troughs and everything.
Small question, how do you ensure that the department administrator is not able to look at the identity of the person? How do you ensure the anonymity of the
phone numbers from which the messages are being sent and information is being sent is not seen by or cannot be seen by any human being whatsoever. So even when we are providing these reports, the administrator logs in, they just in terms of numbers, they see the pattern, they see the graph, they see even the list of messages, but they'll never be able to see the phone number from where it came.
Okay. In what all languages is this available, NIDR available, and what is the size of this application?
So size is in like 3 or 4 MBs, 3 to 4 MBs, not much. Size in terms of installation on phone, you're asking, right? Yeah, it's not worrisome at all. Number of languages, currently it's in English. We are working on the version that will allow users to communicate. And even the mobile OS native capability allows people to change the language and communicate in whatever language they want. So we'll support whatever languages are supported by the OS. Yeah. There's not much work involved over there.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of more interesting questions, but before that, if you've completed or would you like to share something more about your story, then I would be requesting Dinesh Tyagi ji to have something where you could actually see how CSCs could be leveraged by them, or your comments and views on the NIDR, how it could be improved upon and its adoption.
I think it's a very good application built across keeping people anonymous. But how do the anonymity get into the government ecosystem? That remains still a very big question mark. Does the government take cognizance to anonymous applications? Today they don't. They don't. As a rule, they don't take anonymous applications. They just tear them and throw them because they know sanctity. They can't actually take cognizance of them. Anonymous messages, unless you build into the culture, unless you build it through a mandate, that anonymous application and also messages will also be taken cognizance, then it probably will really help quite a lot. It does empower citizens. It definitely empowers citizens in order to communicate effectively. But that ecosystem need to also make improvement according to the aspirations of people in order to send messages.
I think very well said. Before Gunjan takes it over, probably I think it will be very important for us to identify the use cases, primarily where rather than getting into the issues and concerns, we get into information sharing in a smart city, municipalities, whole lot of other places, where if I can upload a video where I see, there's a problem on the road or there are other congestions that's happening, and I start sharing, there'll be a confidence that will be built on the system. So I think the applicability is enormous. We will have to see how do we take it forward. So I think I would request Gunjan to take it further in Sonali. Yeah. And could you share some specifics, some use cases also to strengthen as to how you think about?
Yes. So a few use cases I've already shared with you. I've shared with you the impact, the tremendous impact it can have in only a couple of situations. And there are many such situations. So I'll first, just inform you about the possible list of use cases that this application can be used in, then answer your question about its use in corporate environment. So I gave you an example, and a couple of examples. For example, in case of drugs being peddled, in case of someone plotting some sinister plotting going on somewhere by antisocial elements, a child or a girl suffering abuse in the hands of someone who is very close to them, and they just don't raise it, and it goes on for years and years. And now today's generation, at least it's that smart that they have the phone, they can report that anonymously, even as a third party, that I saw your child with this person in such a position, so please take care that he is not seen. So just think about it. Just think about the trauma, the impact that it can have on the mind of that child if it is not addressed in time. And we all know stories about people who have grown up with that trauma and still suffer from it, right? Elections. If election rigging is going on in any part of the country, just to ensure the sanctity of the democratic process, a person taking a photograph sending a message that this booth in this area is being rigged. This is the photo that people are walking away with. This is the photo that people walking away with the ballots. This is a photograph that people are distributing liquor, cash, whatever it is. Sending location information that, I am reporting from this location and I'm right because this is my location. See it on this mobile app and the location will go and people, yeah. So this information came from that booth. The person was there when the incident was reported. A person can also send voice recording of objectionable conversations. Then I have a huge list of use cases. Police, law enforcement, anti-terrorism, anti-corruption, tenders, contracts, execution, election rigging, educational institutes, admissions processes, examination paper leaks, ragging. Then there is juvenile centers, women's shelters, orphanages, old age homes, any kind of mismanagement and abuse going on in all these places. The banned substance trafficking, human trafficking, ethics, compliance, governance, and HR issues in public and private sector organization. So this is hugely applicable in corporate environment too, because any employee, for example, you take Tatas and Infosys and Wipros and TCS of the world today, and even if you can apply it in public sector corporation, HPCL, BPCL, ONGC, and employees can report any violation of ethics or compliance matters to appropriate authorities without any fear of repercussion whatsoever. And if they do that, just imagine a publicly listed company. If some information that is hugely damaging to the reputation of the company is addressed, if that incident is addressed in time, then you can prevent it from going out and affecting the image of the company, affecting the stock price, market cap of the company, and also preventing them from any penalties or regulatory probes. So the potential is just enormous. Any use case, any direction that we think in, we can figure out the applicabilities of it.
Great. So we've actually heard about a lot on the use cases and its applicability today, and now it's time for government to handshake and try and see how we could really use under the Digital India under various initiatives. And what I would like you to tell us is that the citizens or the government departments, if they want to now really download this application and start using it, what is it that would be stopping them, or what is it that they have to do? What are the next steps for them in terms of trying to use this application? Because I do understand you've been talking about the government departments, which means there are numbers of the government departments which would be required. So what are the steps that you're taking in this direction?
Wonderful question. And so as you can imagine that this application is only useful if there is a directory that is published along with it. That means if a government agency or department or government as a whole for all its departments sort of agrees for it to be used and downloaded by citizens. So if a government department or government decides to use it, we create an instance for them. We make sure that all their phone numbers and the directory is published along with this app. We also give them a facility to keep updating the phone numbers or adding new departments and all that. And whenever any person installs this application, they get this application, for example, NIDR, GOI, right, Government of India. And they get a directory with it, which has, for example, 15 departments with 15 phone numbers. And they can just click on any phone number and send an anonymous message or image or location and voice recording, audio, video, whatever it is. And that's how people use it. It's so simple. But then we need someone to implement it in order for us to roll it out and to provide it to the public. Otherwise, if we just release it without that, then there can be misuse and abuse of the application, which definitely we don't want to do, because the reason after 16 years in USA, we moved back to India solely for the purpose of creating something and doing something for the people of this country. And we are honest to God that we mean that. And this happened after, as Sonali said, that Modi ji came there. We listened to his speech in Madison Square Garden and then in Silicon Valley when he was there. And he encouraged all of us. He spoke to us. And it was not very hard for us to take a decision that, yes, now we should do something. We should go back and do something. And that's how this application was born.
Wonderful. I think 3 cheers we must say. I mean, to come back all the way from US and also ensure, I think that shows the kind of passion that you have and the concern that you have. So, I'm sure with this kind of a zeal, nothing can stop you. And you are today at the right platform. You were able to meet the key people who have already asked you, and they've also talked to you in terms of the next step. So I'm sure the journey ahead is extremely bright, and we do see in the next 6 to 8 months' time, NIDA being used in various government departments and the society in large getting benefited by it. So I'm sure, I think we are all with you, and we are really glad that we have such entrepreneurs who, they're not money-minded, but they actually come out of concern. So success is not very far for you. And thank you so much with this. And Sonali, would you like to add something? And then we will also share your website, and you could actually tell your contact details also to everybody. And
So like Gunjan has been saying, this app is the need of the day. That is what we feel. That is why we are trying to promote it as much as we can. But the thing is that unless the government supports us, it cannot happen. It has to go from the top. And hence we are here, and we are very, very grateful that Digital India team has given us this chance to speak about this app. And I'm sure that our next steps will create the way. Thank you.
wonderful. Tyagiji, is there something? Okay, thank you so much. In fact, it has been a great storytelling, and we look forward to a great success and great cooperation by the central government and also the state governments. So with this, wish you all the best for a great journey ahead, and thank you so much for being on the show. We, I think, have as a part of our gratitude, we would like to share a momentum here with you. My pleasure.